Hey, how y'all doing? It's Sharonda, and I'm here with another video. How y'all been? How y'all doing? Let's get into this thing, shall we? So, this video, I'm going to be talking about my books for April and May. Pretty much a wrap up with a little bit of, just a quick bookish thoughts and things like that. So, let's go. And yes, I colored my hair. First book I'm going to talk about. And before I start, the image of the book will appear on the side of me. So let's start off with InstaLove by Danielle Allen. This is part of her The One series. It is a story that focuses on a reality TV dating show. It focuses on a young lady who basically mistakenly signs up for a dating show called The One, and she does it on a night that she's not feeling too good about love and relationships, and she was a little bit too tipsy, and so basically you have her mistakenly signing up for the show, and she goes on it to meet her one true love, her forever. And I like the book. I received the ARC from the author for this book, and I gotta say I really enjoyed it. I love the chemistry between the characters, and I really did love the way that Danielle Allen broke down the whole reality TV process. If these folks are like with these two, they were on a dating show, so we got them dealing with the people that were kind of like handling them, issues from family members, issues from work lives. So I really liked how she broke that whole situation down. It was really well done. So I gotta say, if you like reality dating TV shows, definitely check out The One by Danielle Allen. And my next book is The Making of You by Ava Freeman. This is a queer romance, lesbian, female, women loving women, and I like this book too. I really did enjoy this read. So you have this character, Giselle, who's trying to get her life back on track. She has a former addiction, has this strained relationship with her brother and her mom. And, in order to get her life back on track and fix this kind of like fracture that she has with her family, she goes and lives with her aunt, like in upstate New York, to get herself together, okay? And this is where she meets Aaliyah, and they start liking each other. I really did enjoy this book. Again, another book with great chemistry between the characters, because what is your romance if your characters don't have any chemistry? What are we doing here? Okay, but this was a really good read. Does deal with some heavy topics, again, with Giselle having a form of addiction, and also there's mention of abuse, spousal abuse, and childhood abuse, things like that. And with Aaliyah was a pretty she didn't come from like any issues or anything like that. The issue with Aaliyah was that she had a tendency to let people kind of like use her in her friendships, with other people. Her friends were basically like using her, especially her one girl, a girlfriend that she had, not like a girlfriend, but one of her, girlfriends. And because this girl knew that Aaliyah liked her at one point, like really, really liked her, I feel like she was kind of like using Aaliyah. But then had a problem when Giselle came in, when Aaliyah was, about to be happy, and you got a nerve to have issue. Bye. But that character really got on my nerves. But this was a really good story, and I liked it a lot. And the cover is freaking gorgeous. I love this cover. Really pretty book. Next book I read was Entanglements by K.L. Hall. This has got to be the messiest damn book I have read in 2023. But all I'm gonna say is go listen to the podcast Brazenly Shady. Me and Tama talk about this book in so much detail. It's wild. But basically in this story, I'll give you guys just a brief breakdown of it. and it's gonna be brief. Like I said, go listen to the podcast. But basically in the story, we have Nia, who runs into because this lady got on my nerves in this book, but she runs into this guy that she had a crush on during middle school and high school, and child, he was playing her to the left all the damn time. And you know, she meets him, she runs back into him as an adult, and he ain't shit. He wasn't shit in high school. I ain't gonna talk about no middle school child, okay? He wasn't shit in high school. He pretty much wasn't shit as an adult, and basically he uses Nia for a whole lot of stuff. And I had no sympathy for Nia's character because she was dumb as a boulder. Like, she was just dumb as hell. If you could think of the dumbest person around you, that's Nia. But the book is engaging because of the messiness that is surrounding these characters. But child, if you go into this book, just go into it with a grain of salt is all I have to say. Moving on, honey. Next book is Love, Honor, Betray, which is by Monroe. I got this. I requested this through NetGalley. Why can't I talk? And for the most part, I like this book. I ended up rating it 3. I really do love Mary Monroe. Just messy black folks, child. Messy black folks. I don't care what era or time or year or whatever she's writing it. It's just messy as black folks in her books. And the stories are really good and engaging. She talks around a whole lot of conversations, you know, with black folks, respectability and homophobia, and all of this is going on inside of this book, child. And murder, honey. Good read. The next book is Fire and Brimstone, Shifting Hearts by Stella Williams. This is part of a series of books. And for the most part, I like this book. I was drawn to the book because it was it's a shifter romance, and I love the fact that the woman was a phoenix shifter. I don't think I ever came across that while reading a shifter romance. I was like, excuse me? A phoenix? Like the Firebird? Like, yeah. So I was drawn to it from that when I read the blurb. And she ends up starting to be in a relationship with a hound of hell. Cerberus, honey. Like, I was like, okay, Miss Stella, like, all right, I see you. I like the story. Basically, what we have is Sarita, who is on the run because she's like one of the only she pretty much like one of the only phoenix shifters like left, and she's on the run because her family is trying to make her marry this crazy dude, because it seems like only, you know, they all into that, only, you know, certain shifters can mate with, you know, their own kind and stuff. And child, ain't the kind of life she wants. And she already knew that the male shifter, the male Firebird that they wanted her to be with, mate with, she knew that he was going to use her for her powers. Like, and he was, because y'all, pretty much this man was like, girl, yeah, I was going to get with you. I was going to drain you of your powers and like drop you to the side. You know what I mean? So, you know, she was like, whatever. But she runs into, what was his name? I'll keep looking down because I'm looking at my phone, but y'all see me shifting it up and down. She runs into Terrence, who is like authorities, child, like law enforcement. But anyway, she runs into him. She's in this new town, and this town that she's in is starting to have like these little fires break out. Well, you know what, let me not lie, little fires, okay? They weren't little fires. And him and his brothers are like, they really were like, you know, like the big three-headed hell, you know, like Cerberus, like, you know, the big three-headed dog. But they were separate. It's like they weren't connected heads or anything, but they were like, what? Okay, I'm getting off track. Y'all know how I do. But you know, he's like him and his brothers, they're like investigating these fires and stuff like that. And he sees Sarita. He doesn't know that she's a Phoenix shifter initially, but you know, and the story goes on from there. For the most part, I like this story. It's super short. Again, it's part of one of those, you know, books, those series with like multiple authors, you know, talking about multiple characters, different themes, you know, well, all same theme, all paranormal romance and stuff like that. But this one just like kind of like drew me in, because I was like, a Phoenix shifter. But yeah, it was pretty good. I enjoyed the book for what it was. I liked it. Good chemistry between, another book with good chemistry between the characters. It was a good read. And then we move on to Bleek, Blackmon's Woman, a black cowboy story. I get on my own nerves sometimes. A black cowboy story by Angelia, Vernon, Menchan. I hope I'm saying that right, but you see her name on the cover. This was so good, y'all. I fell in love with this book. It was so good. But basically, you have Bleek, Blackmon, who is a black cowboy. But you know, it's child, we in the, what century are we in? Anyway, in current times, he's like, he owns a lot of land, very rich, and he is being pressured by his mother to, you know, to carry on a family name. You know, she wants him to get married and have some babies, okay? Grandma wants some grandbabies, okay? And Bleek is kind of like, you know, the type of man that's just like, I ain't ready for all of that, but I need somebody, you know, I guess I'm gonna need somebody in the future, child. I don't know. But anyway, he he ends up meeting, hold on, I'm getting her name, y'all, because y'all know I be messing up these names, child. The blurb for this book is long as hell. I'm like, Miss Arthur, ma'am, why is this blurb so long? Like, Anastasia. Thank you. So he ends up meeting Anastasia, who comes on to the ranch as she's replacing the family lawyer. And their chemistry is just like boom. They kind of like, it was kind of like oil and water a little bit initially, because Angelina is just like, and it wasn't even her fault, it was him, because he's still a man, and he kind of like had those thoughts in his head, like, you know, how's a woman gonna, you know, manage my family's affairs and all that other stuff. And I was like, Blake. But you know, they get past that, and the chemistry is just like instantaneous. Chemistry between them was just like off the wall charts, and it just was lovely to see that Angelina didn't come. She wasn't like a city girl that came into, you know, the country or anything. She was Texas. Sorry, y'all. My phone just glitched. But she was a Texas girl, born and raised. And her and Bleek ends up kind of like connecting, you know, over that. You know what I mean? Just like, it was a really good read. Like, I love this book. I love them together. Bleek has some, child, let me tell you something. Bleek has some family history, honey. His papa was a Rolling Stone, and we get a thing where, oh, Lord have mercy. And his mother, I liked his mother, but once the family secret, because Bleek was all about like, we not doing that, you know, it's a family secret, it needs to stay a family secret. Bleek was like, no, we about to spill all these beans, you know what I'm saying? Especially, I felt like Bleek, especially with the family being like, you know, very rich and very popular, and Bleek was very much on the time of, let me put our tea out there before somebody else put my tea, you know, put our tea out there. Like, we might as well just go ahead and spill the tea before somebody else get the tea and tell the tea wrong. So I'm gonna just tell the tea the way it is. So he was very much on, not that, you know, we're not keeping no family secrets in here, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, Bleek's family history. Bleek wasn't trying to sell none of his family's land. He really was going to keep it in the family, you know. But it was really, really good. You guys got to read the book. And this cover is fucking gorgeous. I love this cover. Like, it's just, whew. But yeah, read the book. Anastasia loved her. She was good for Bleek, because she wasn't putting up with none of his, like, yeah, I know you rich, and I know you on a whole nother level, but I could be on another level too, honey. So yeah, good read. Check it out. Next book is Finally Yours, a Lawrence family series by Suzette Riddick. I really did like this book. I ended up liking it by the time I got to the end of it. But I'm going to tell y'all right now, I was not a fan of Samantha in this damn book because she was giving our dude Dexter a really hard time. And I was like, for what? For why? Because if your daddy want to sell the family business, why you mad? Like, that man been working all his life. He don't want to work no more. That man want to go into retirement. He want to chill with his wife. Like, girl, leave that man alone. But, like, you know, once you got the reasons, like, why, you know, the girls, because she has two other sisters. I don't know why I put up 3, but she has 2 other sisters. And, you know, she was really, I feel like, the only one that had a problem with the father selling the business. But she was so hard on Dexter in the beginning of this book because Dexter was just like, you know, he was one of those guys. He was like, you know, buying up properties and flip them. And also he didn't like try to like, I liked him a lot because, you know, he was buying up the properties and flipping them, but he was also making sure that, you know, black people in the communities that he was buying these properties and flipping them in were still able to afford to buy them, and, you know, keeping black people, you know, in their communities and stuff like that. So, you know, the book has some really great conversations going on with it. And I'm telling y'all right now, I was like, this lady can go kick a big ass rock with no shoes on because, girl, what are you doing? Huh. But anyway, they end up liking each other, and he ends up kind of like, you know, loosening her up, softening her up. Because, child, when I tell you she was hard on that man, she was hard on that man. And, you know, the romance goes from there. Really great. Love the book, you know. Towards the middle, towards the end, I started liking the book. Because I was like, I could fight Sammy. Because, girl, what? And then the next book is... we still in April, child. The next book is Found Forever by Lady Marie. This is the second book in her Sisters and Serendipity series. I enjoyed this book so much more than the first book in the series. This is also older man, younger woman, romance, age gap romance, child, whatever the hell they call these things now. And because everything got a goddamn something, a trope, a topic, a subgenre, everything in romance. But this book was so good. I really loved it. I loved here I go with the name, Lizzie, and what was her husband's name? Because when we go inside of the book, Lizzie and Alonzo are already married. Lizzie came into that marriage with a child, and I love the fact that Alonzo was so accepting of her son. You know, like, that's my son, you know, that's not my stepson or anything like that. That's my son, you know. But what happens is this story, I feel like this wasn't much, it wasn't a full-blown romance. This was pretty much more, in my opinion, you know, I'm not telling the author what she, you know, what she wrote, but I feel like, because, you know, a lot of folks be getting all like huffy when you but anyway, you know, I felt like this was more women's fiction than anything. And, you know, we already have a romance between Lizzie and her damn husband. What goes on in this story is Lizzie's baby daddy decides to come back and creates some damn drama. Or at least he tried. What I loved was the united front between Lizzie and Alonzo when it came to that man. Because he really came in. First of all, my guy, you pretty much abandoned this lady and your baby, okay? At the hospital, you ain't even go look at your son when he popped out, okay? When he came into the world. You didn't even go look at your son. You straight ran. It was the audacity for the baby daddy for me. It was the audacity because that man really came in on some, I got 10 years in. That's my son. And he really thought he was going to come in and ruin this lady's marriage based on some past. But it really does. I like her giving us that perspective of the story because that's really how some people, that's the type of time some folks be on. you know. And it was just like, but yeah, good story. Love the relationship between Lizzie and her boo now. Sorry, Alonzo. I just love that they had this united front when it came to her baby daddy. I think the only thing, the only thing that got on my damn nerves, I just think they gave him too many passes to get himself right. Because this lady wasn't giving him no type of time, she wasn't even giving him a crack, an inch, so to make him even believe that she was going to like fuck with him on any kind of level. Like it, I just feel like they gave him too much grace because he was so her baby daddy was disrespectful as hell in this book. Like disrespectful towards her and her relation in her marriage, disrespectful towards her husband. And Alonzo was kind of, Alonzo was older, so he was like, I'm gonna try to approach this boy, on a higher level. But I feel like she should have wrote it where Alonzo at least kicked his ass once. That's just how I feel. And I mean, just I'm not gonna be the one to say, I'm not for violence. Yes, because violence is called for sometimes, and this man definitely needed some violence towards him. But yeah, check out Found Forever by Lady Marie. It's a really good read, and I think a lot of people will enjoy the book. Next book is Coming Clean by Jen Trinh. Am I saying that right? I don't know. Child, correct me if I don't do that. Never mind. Because I say correct me, y'all. You said it. I know I said it wrong. But anyway, this was a really good read. I loved it. This is really good. I love this story. So basically in this book, you have Diana and you have, y'all see me looking down because I'm looking for old boy's name, and Darian. Darian is a famous actor. And he runs into Diana one day while he is basically trying to be on vacation. The property that he is renting is next door. She's house sitting from someone, and Diana at this point in her life, child, she going through it. Life is life, and she's like, you know what, I'm over this shit. And her and Darian run into each other, and it's kind of like, it's touch and go there for a minute, because this man she has some chips. I think it was called fish chips. Now both these characters are Asian, okay? And she has some fish chips, and he went over there to bother that lady for some damn chips. I was just like, sir, what are you doing? But anyway, they kind of like have like a rocky start, and then after basically a one-night stand, after they get past that rockiness, after a one-night stand, Darian, the story goes from there, and you basically have it where Darian is, because he's this famous actor, he is, he's trying to keep everything kind of like on the low, because things to get out, and y'all got to read the story on why he was trying to keep, he wanted to keep the relationship that him and Diana started building on the low. And God, it stressed me out. I ain't even gonna lie, it stressed me out, because I was like, what kind of nonsense is this? Like, and you got to read the book to understand. But okay, I'm gonna spill a little bit of tea. But basically, because the book is already out. But basically, he was in a relationship with someone. She's a well-known actress now, and they had this breakup. And I ain't gonna tell y'all the reason why, but I swear to God, that reason why, I was like, man, you giving this lady and that other person way too much grace, because pop. That's fighting stuff right there. That is fighting stuff right there, okay? Like, physically about to kick your ass type stuff. But anyway, so because both of them are actors, and she's like in the middle of like promoing for a new movie, and they kind of like they had them broke up now. They broke up the engagement, but they had to pretend to still be engaged because her acting career was kind of like on the rise at this point in the story. And it was just like, I was like, no ma'am, nope, wouldn't have been me. But we wouldn't have had the story that we have. Is Darian didn't do it. Darian was a really sweet character, really lovely character, liked him a lot. I love Diana too. And I got why she pushed back so much at Darian and him trying to keep this whole relationship undercover, and you know why she decided to even play along with him to keep, you know, what they had going on undercover and stuff. But it was good. Great connection between the characters. Love the writing of this author. Very funny, quirky, cute moments. There are some topics of racism. There's a racial slur actually inside of the book being hurled at, you know, one of the main characters or whatever. So, you know, just check yourself when you go inside that book, and, you know, if you want to read, you know, because sometimes we can't be reading shit like that because we be like, what? But yeah, because that's fighting stuff too. Like, but but it's a really good story. Check it out. And yeah, I like this author's writing, so I'm definitely going to have to check out some more of her catalog because this was good. Now we're going into May Child. Can't believe we're still here. So May, first book I want to talk about is For Her Protection by Dria Andersen. This is the third book and the third and final book in the Night Brothers series. I love this book, but you know what? I love Dria Andersen and I love her writing, so pretty much for me this lady can't do nothing wrong. Okay, so don't come up under my comments with that BS. Punch you in the face. But in this book we have Rock, who is the oldest brother, Silas. He is his security. Okay, security. He's his security. But Rock is like part of the Knight family. He is, you know, he's like a brother to Silas and Mason, and we're getting his love story. But what there are some heavy themes inside of this book as well, mainly dealing with Rock. He comes from a very abusive childhood, and he has scarring from that childhood. But you know, but the author doesn't touch too heavily on it. It's briefly noted because we have to understand why Rock is the way he is inside of the story. He gives you the strong, silent, stoic type. You know what I mean? He doesn't say too much because of the scarring. And yeah. So this is another shifter romance. Both of the shifters are bear shifters, and I loved it. I love the story. I just thought Julissa was a pretty great matchup for Rock. She was very much, you know, she comes from a very well-known, very rich family. You know, she's very outgoing, you know, whereas Rock is kind of like, she's an extrovert, he's an introvert. So, you know, she brought this thing out in him or whatever. It was really, really just a beautiful story. I love y'all gonna hear me say chemistry a lot, okay? So just be here, okay? But the chemistry between these characters was amazing. Love their chemistry. There's a subject matter of domestic abuse inside of the story. Again, not heavily noted, but we do have it because Rock, because of his childhood, he's now in the mind frame of helping shifters, you know, because this is a shifter romance. He's in a you know, he helps a lot of shifters that are going through abusive relationships get away from that, and he's housing them and helping them get back on their Rock. I love the Rock. He was just like I said, like that silent, strong type, but always on go. Like when they needed him, Rock was it, okay? Rock was not playing with nobody about his family, and I loved it. Very good read. This is a great ending, a great end to the Night Brother series. And if you have not read Dria Andersen, if you go through my channel, I've talked about several of her books on this channel, okay? Definitely check her out. Amazing writer. Lovely, lovely story, okay? Just read this series, okay? Next book is The Duchess Bodyguard by Drea C. This is a new to me author. And this is book 1 in her Truly Fated series. This is a yeah, this was a paranormal romance because we had a fairy and a wolf shifter. This is another queer romance, woman lover woman, female lesbian romance, okay? All of that. I like this book. This was so good. It was so cute. And basically we have these two characters, Robin, who is a huntress, and you know, I loved it. I like the characters a lot. Robin was pretty much written to be kind of like, she ain't struggling, but you know, it's like, I got to do this huntress shit to make some extra money, you know. You know, I do my pack shit, you know, stuff with my pack, but I need some extra money, honey. And she does this job of being a huntress, you know, solving mysteries and things like that. So that is kind of like the backdrop of the story, because the world is broken off in realms in this series, in this book, and both, of course, one of the leaders, I think it was like the Vampire King at that time, he was murdered. So now they have to find out what's going on, okay? And pretty much somebody's trying to start a war between the realms, because now everybody's at peace and everybody just trying to get along. There's always somebody kind of just want to come start some shit when everybody getting along. Everybody all like hunky-dory happy, and here comes a shit starter. So that's basically what's going on in the background in this story. But anyway, Robin, I be doing too much, right? Robin meets a fairy Duchess, and what was her name? Hold on for me, y'all. Yoshana. Yoshana is a fairy, and she's kind of like Duchess. She's you know, she's important. She's somebody, and she takes an instant liking to Robin when she runs into her the night that all this shit goes down, right? And there's an instant attraction. So in order for Robin to do this this huntress job of trying to find out who's you know, what's going on behind the scenes, her and Yoshana go into kind of like this fake dating thing. You know, they start fake dating, and you know, she's also pretends to be a bodyguard for Yoshana and stuff like that, because Yoshana's cousin, who is kind of like queen of the fairies, is very protective of her cousin, and she's like, I just don't want to make any you know, make sure anything doesn't happen to you, because both Yoshana and the queen lost their parents at young ages. So the queen is very protective of her people, of her cousin. But Yoshana's kind of like feeling like claustrophobic. She's like, bitch, I gotta get up out of here, you know? And so her and Robin make a deal where, you know, the deal is with the fake dating and Robin protecting her and stuff like that. Yoshana is more free to roam, you know, and Robin is able to solve this mystery. I loved, again, the chemistry between these two characters. It's a really great read. I do feel like I would have wanted more description of the world itself, especially because we're dealing with different realms and stuff. And I do feel like we kind of like had like this mixture of like old and new things going, like old times and current times going on inside of the book. But for the most part, it was a really good read. So definitely check that out. The other book I read was Vengeance Becomes Her by Alexis Maness. My phone is like, girl, hurry up. I'm gonna hurry up. I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of this book. It's kind of like a revenge plot. Pretty much we have this character, Rayne, who basically get used by her ain't shit ex-boyfriend. And, you know, he was on some crazy type time, okay? And basically you have this revenge plot where Rayne, after she survives what this man does to her, she about to get his ass. I don't know. It was hard for me to initially grab onto this story, get into it. I liked Rayne as a character, and I love the whole revenge plot. I just think like I think that the pacing of it was really slow. And yeah, you know, and then you have it where Rayne, which I like that she was pretty much on that type of time, because his brother comes in and starts helping her, but she wasn't trusting that motherfucker at all, which I was just like, smart girl, because you learning, you know, you ain't know nothing the first time, but now you know, be careful. But yeah, but it was, yeah, the pacing of the story was, I think the pacing is what killed this story for me. Awesome plot, but yeah. I think there's a part 2 to this. It's a duology. Maybe I'll go into part 2. I don't know, but yeah. Next book is Never Cross a Highlander by Lisa Rayne. Yeah, this is another book I was just okay with. The pacing for this book was just, it was just not my type of, it was not my type of pacing. But basically, and I was excited because this is a historical romance. We had a black Highlander, you know. Both of the characters are pretty much biracial in this book, but they was black, okay? And he is part of a clan, and he pretty much runs into this woman who was forced into, not even forced, she was basically like sold into enslavement. And she's trying to escape. You know, she's like, bitch, I'm out of here. You know, because she was a free black woman. And you have to read the story. But this book has been out for a while, so yeah. But yeah, it was too much back and forth between these characters for me. I just feel like the communication in this book was on zero. Like, what are we doing here? Like, I just feel like for a majority of these reads, if these two motherfuckers would have just talk to each other and told each other what was going on between them, instead of us having like all this crunchy stuff in between. I was just like, just ruined the book for me. It really, really ruined the book for me. So yeah. Next book, we had Madam X, which is another NetGalley ARC by Naomi Bryant. Pacing was terrible in this book. Pacing was, I don't know, some of these books I read during May and April, the pacing, even though I finished the books and was able to get through the books, the pacing was kicking my ass, okay? And obviously kicking some of these author asses too, because what are y'all doing? But anyway, in this book, we have Desmona, who is a returning character from one of her other books, who used to be a madam. She was in them streets, and now she went from the streets to being a madam, but she's not on that type of time no more. She's actually, you know, she's in a relationship with someone. She is, you know, she's in school. You know, by all means, she's just trying to get her life right, I guess, in a moral type of a way, you know. But what are morals? But her tea gets spilled because one of her ex-clients, typical ass man, running his damn mouth. And now everybody, you know, we had it where everybody, because he didn't say who the madam was in his book. He wrote a book, spilled all the tea. He didn't say who it was, but, you know, now everybody wants to know who it is. But basically her tea gets spilled, and now she just has to kind of like protect herself, you know, from all these trolls and stuff, and deal with her man, because her man was on some, he was on some mess. Because I was like, girl, leave him. But you know, but anyway, but you know, it was a good story for the most part, but the pacing killed me. I wasn't with the pacing of this book at all. I just wanted more. I just wanted to be more cohesive, more whatever. And the other thing that killed this story was we spent so much time in Desmona's head, you know. It was just like, please let this lady get out her head, okay? Because I'm tired of being here. Me, reader, I'm tired of being here. But I love the conversations around sex work and, you know, and sex workers, and, you know, rather than madams or, you know, street women or whatever. I just love the conversations around it, and what these women, men too, because when she was a madam, she had men on her roster, you know, what they have to go through, and, you know, why they're doing the things they do. And I love the fact that we got the background on why Desmona even you know, was out in them streets first, and her stepmama, girl, I would have left her more than broke. That's all I'm gonna say on her. And my last book for May was Wet by Marlee Rae. My podcast mate been in my ass about reading this author. I finally did, and for the most part, I like this book. I would, the pacing was good in this one. It was like kind of like partway struggle or whatever, for me. But in this book, we have Didi and Dale, and I like the fact that this was an older couple. They both are divorcees at this point when they meet up again through their dive club. Yes, give us black people doing other stuff, okay? And they meet up and they decide to spark a relationship. Dale has always liked Didi, but you know, she was married, and his ass was married too. But by the time I finished this book, I was really side-eyed the fuck out of Dale, because I was like, sir. But it was really much no problems between the couple themselves. It was outside stuff, especially, you know, mainly with Dale's ex-wife. It was too much focus on the ex-wife and their past relationship. And this could have just been really like a clean cut, sexy, cute romance between two divorcees reconnecting, okay? But all that extra time we got with the ex-wife and why she didn't want to let go after it's like a year after they divorced, and it was wild. It was wild. But for the most part, liked the book. Okay, that's it for me. I think I've been here too long. But listen, I had to do 2 months, all right? But cause y'all don't know when y'all gonna see me again. No, I don't know. But so for the most part, yeah, those are my books for April and May. And for the most part, I enjoyed many of these books. And until the next one, later days. Bye.